Hi, Bobcats. We're back with Wishtree. The next several chapters, it's getting really good. Somebody left a baby in one of Red's hollows. Crazy. Okay, we are on chapter 37. We're getting there, folks. Hang in. Many in the neighborhood didn't approve of an unmarried Irish woman raising an abandoned Italian baby. People talked, as they will, and they tisk-tisked as they must. Some people were even angry. They said hurtful things. They told Maeve that Amadora didn't belong. They told Maeve that she and the baby should leave. Maeve merely smiled and held Amadora close and waited and hoped. On dark nights, when hope was scarce, she would sing an old Irish tune mixed with a newer Italian song that she had learned from a neighbor. The melody was sweet. The words were silly. The effect was always the same, a little smile from Amma. Sure enough, the longer Maeve waited, the kinder people grew, and before long, Amma, as she came to be called, was as much part of our messy garden as all the rest of us. When Amma was old enough to feed Squibbles and his family, she did. When she was strong enough to climb me, she did. And when she was ready to make wishes of her own, she did. And when Amma grew up steady and honest and kind, like her mother, and had babies of her own, and then grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Eventually, Amma and her husband bought the little brown house and the one right next to it, and painted them blue and green. Years later, they purchased a house across the street and began to rent the blue and green houses to other families. The family grew and prospered and argued and failed and loved and laughed. Always and forever, the laughter kept them going. And when Amma's grandson had a little girl, he chose a fine Italian name for her with a fine Irish middle name, Francesca Maeve. Chapter 38. As for me, my reputation grew. Hadn't Maeve's wish come true in the heart of the Wishtree? Didn't that mean anything was possible? Of course, as Squibbles reminded me, I'd had nothing to do with it. This isn't a fairy tale, Red, he would say, but people are full of longings, and decade after decade, the hopes kept coming. A blessing and a burden it has been, all those wishes, all those years. But everyone needs to hope. Chapter 39. At long last, I stopped talking. Once the words had spilled out, it was like trying to stop the wind. In the silence that followed, I felt as if the whole world was holding its breath. I'd broken the rule. Stephen and Samar still stared open-mouthed at me. They looked as rooted to the ground as I was. Neither had uttered a sound while I'd told my story. The front door to Stephen's house opened. "Stephen?" called his father. "What the heck are you doing, young man?" Stephen leapt to his feet. Here I come, Dad. Night, Samar." "Night, Stephen," she said. Stephen dashed toward the porch but stopped halfway, and he spun around to look at me. "Thanks," he said in a quizzical voice, using the same tone he might have used if Bongo had just made him pancakes. The door slammed behind him. Samar stood, holding her blanket to her chest. "I know I must be dreaming," she said. She headed to her own porch and eased open the door. "I just wish," she added with a smile, "that I didn't have to wake up." Chapter 40. Almost instantly, I had regretted what I'd done. I'd broken the rule, the biggie. I'd deliberately spoken to people, and not just a few words. I'd spoken a river of words. It wasn't like that frog in the mailbox. I hadn't broken the rule accidentally. I'd broken the rule because I wanted something. I wanted to matter. I wanted to do something meaningful. I'd done it for myself. After the shocked babies and their equally shocked parents were safely ensconced in their dens, I admitted my feelings to Bongo, and I waited for her to yell at me. Bongo's good at yelling. Extremely good. You might even say she has a gift. Why did I do it, Bongo? I murmured. Why? She flew to home plate and stroked my rough bark with her sleek head. You did it, my wise old tree, because you had a story to tell. It was foolish, I said. I'm not supposed to be foolish. Not so foolish, Bongo said, just hopeful. And everyone needs to hope, Red. Even wise old trees. Okay, we're going to stop there. That next chapter is chapter 41. We're getting there. Getting good. Hang in there. I'll see you later.